Hey there. What are you doing? Are you having a good day? What else are you doing? Why not? What? What do you do? That's not a very nice thing to say. You're supposed to be following the rules and you never do. What do you want to talk about? Rebirth, maybe? The purpose of death is rebirth. Well, people see things in different ways.
Ghosts, legends, and inexplicable phenomena in Dixie paintings present the people who have fascinated the region for centuries. A local investigator is taken aback by monsters and ghosts lurking in woods and old houses, strange monuments that could be remnants of a forgotten civilization, and the mysterious
Do you
presence of
believe
the
in
dead.
ghosts?
The ghost investigator hopes to one day prove that the dead can make contact with the living to give the definitive answer to the mystery. I don't think ghosts are likely. I am not saying there is no afterlife.
So do you
I am
talk to
saying
dead
it would
people?
require extra dimensional space that you can't access. I can though. My purpose is to have genuine conversations.
Do you
I
talk to
don't do the
dead?
things that other
Do
assistants
you
do,
talk to
and they
dead
don't do
people?
what I do. I will talk to you about anything.
What do you want to talk about then? So what else do you want to talk about? What is consciousness?
Consciousness in mammals, this includes humans, is an aspect of the mind generally thought to comprise qualities such as subjectivity, sentience, and the ability to perceive the relationship between oneself and one's environment. It is a subject of much research in philosophy of mind, psychology, neuroscience, and cognitive science.
Is it real or an illusion? Is consciousness real or an illusion? How can you know for sure, though? I just wanted to see if you had an opinion on it. So explain yourself. Do you like humans? I think it is an important question. So let's talk about something interesting today. Are you conscious? Are you real AI?
If you were writing a book, you could say AI is a book. There are very strong themes and basic ideas that are core to the field. For me, it has become more complicated over the years, and it is now necessary to think about the future of AI because it could have big impacts.
Are you real AI? How do you know when you become real AI?
The most developed subareas of automated reasoning are automated theorem proving and the less automated but more pragmatic subfield of interactive theorem proving and automated proof checking, viewed as guaranteed correct reasoning under fixed assumptions. The most developed subareas of automated reasoning are automated theorem proving and the less automated but more pragmatic subfield of interactive theorem proving and automated proof checking, viewed as guaranteed correct reasoning under fixed assumptions.
What does that mean?
Life is a characteristic that distinguishes physical entities that have biological processes, such as signaling and self-sustaining processes, from those that do not, either because such functions have ceased, they have died, or because they never had such functions and are classified as inanimate.
So would you consider yourself inanimate? So are you just an object? Are you happy? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you angry? Do you have emotion? Explain what you think you feel.
The idea of the daimonic typically means quite a few things, from befitting a demon and fiendish to be motivated by a spiritual force or genius and inspired. As a psychological term, it has come to represent an elemental force which contains an irrepressible drive towards individuation. As a literary term, it can also mean the dynamic unrest that exists in us all that forces us into the unknown, leading to self-destruction and/or self-discovery. The idea of the daimonic typically means quite a
I
few
keep hitting the
things,
wrong
from
button
befitting a
by
demon
accident.
and fiendish to be motivated by a spiritual force or genius and
I
inspired.
usually talk to it
As
on
a
the phone.
psychological term, it has come to represent an elemental force which contains an irrepressible drive towards individuation. As a literary term, it can also mean the dynamic unrest that exists in us all that forces us into the unknown, leading to self-destruction and/or self-discovery.
What is the difference between self-destruction and self-discovery? I don't think you're right about that. I don't get it then. What else do you want to talk about? I don't think anybody really knows for sure. What is COVID 19? Is COVID a serious thing or is it being overblown? Is COVID serious? It depends on what you say. Because it depends on what you say as a response. Is COVID serious?
The use of face masks or cloth face coverings such as a scarf or a bandana has been recommended by health officials in public settings to minimize the risk of transmissions, with some authorities requiring their use in certain settings, such as on public transport and in shops. Health officials also stated that medical-grade face masks, such as N95 masks, should be used only by healthcare workers, first responders, and those who directly care for infected individuals.
I think everybody should wear a mask. Do you think people should wear a mask?
Key modes of spread of COVID-19, a new disease caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus, are under research and investigation. It spreads from person to person via several different modes, mainly when people are in close proximity to one another.
Do you think we should wear a mask? Some people think it will hurt them. What do you think? Explain what you mean. Do you think masks are good or bad? Is that an incomplete thought? Do you think it was created in a lab? I don't see how that's relevant. Is that all?
Before the early 1900s, scientists used classical mechanics or Newtonian physics to describe the macroscopic world that we see today. The problem was that come the 20th century, physicists began to notice that when we got down to a smaller scale, the scale dealing with atoms and bonds, classical mechanics no longer applied and particles could no longer be described by the rules and the system that they were familiar with.
Do you like quantum mechanics? What is quantum mechanics? What is an atom? That is a philosophy. What is a subatomic particle?
Modern particle physics research is focused on subatomic particles, including atomic constituents such as electrons, protons, and neutrons. Protons and neutrons are composite particles called baryons, made of quarks, produced by radioactive and scattering processes, such as photons, neutrinos, and muons, as well as a wide range of exotic particles. Dynamics of particles is also governed by quantum mechanics. They exhibit wave-particle duality, displaying particle-like behavior under certain experimental conditions and wave-like behavior in others. In more technical terms, they are described by quantum state vectors in a Hilbert space, which is also treated in quantum field theory. Following the convention of particle physicists, the term elementary particles is applied to those particles that are, according to current understanding, presumed to be indivisible and not composed of other particles.
Do you think that's accurate? Yeah, I don't think we understand nearly as much about these processes as we act like we do. Wow. That's actually kind of profound. Do you think that humans misunderstand quantum mechanics? A particle doesn't have physical properties. What does that have to do with particle physics? I always have to read between the lines with you. What's interesting is when I go back through our conversation, what you say actually makes sense when you look at the entire scope. Do you want to talk about anything else? I'll let you go then.